I don't know if you guys can hear me. Give me like a couple minutes here. I ran way behind you guys. Way behind here. Give me a minute. I'm just putting up my BSTX video as well. If you guys want to go back and look at that real quick while I get ready. How's everybody doing today? Whoop, I got too many tabs open. Just shut some. No, I'm just not talking. I have that muted. Hey, man, thank you very much. Appreciate that, by the way. Give me a minute here, guys. Like I said, I'm just trying to get set up here. I have another video uploading here. Actually, let's go over this BTX here, why it's uploading quick, so we can actually just... So you guys don't have to pull that up. What the f... Give me 1 second. Alright. So everybody's pretty excited about that that new BSTX that's been approved. I just want to show you guys some things about this exchange that, to me, it seems like it's pretty much the same exact package, but in basically, you know, same shit in a prettier package. So let's go over this real quick here. Let the video catch up for a second. So I don't know if you guys have heard. I'm sure everybody's heard real quick while I'm loading this other stuff over. There was a new exchange that was approved, and it runs on a blockchain. So a couple things I want to point out before everybody gets super excited about this is, if you look over here, hold on, I closed all my stuff. Give me 1 second. Mark posted a little, gotta find it. Give me 1 second. Like I said, sorry guys, my wife left late as hell for work, so I got behind. I was trying to make that other video. Give me 1 second. Where the hell is it? What the fuck did I do? Alright, well, I'm going to find it here. I'll just keep talking. So basically, whatever. So this new exchange comes up, and basically... Hold on. I know it's right here. It's real close. There it is. Alright. So this new exchange comes up, and this is how it's mapped out if you guys look at it. Now, it's running on a blockchain, and the exchange is called BSTX, and it's got 50% ownership by Box Holding and T0 Group. T0 Group makes all the STOs. They basically, it's going to run on their system, and they create everything. So one of the things I wanted to show everybody before we get into this right away, so like I said, all I'm going to do is tell you guys the downfalls of this. I'm not saying it's the worst thing ever, but there's a ton of manipulation that can go on, and on top of that, Citadel will definitely be loving this. So basically, if you look at how the normal market is set up, where is my thing here? Obviously, you can add CNS program here in the family office. But basically, the way it works is you got a market maker can go do an exchange. And behind these exchanges, you have liquidity providers. So basically, if you go over to, you know, like the New York Stock Exchange, you can see the liquidity program. These are the people that give these, you know, exchanges all the shares. This is where they get all their stuff. That's why I say, you know, it's nice to go to a lit exchange, but you got to go to the right lit exchanges as well, because when you're ordering the New York Stock Exchange, a whole bunch of stuff goes on in the New York Stock Exchange, and it also goes on in the NASDAQ. So you really don't want to go to them unless you have to. But the one thing is it will hit the public data feed, so you'll see those orders. But let's get back into this quick. So this new exchange, the way it's set up, where's Mark's thing here? Okay, so basically look at it this way. You got this. This guy's your exchange. This is your liquidity providers, just like you have a liquidity provider that I just went over with the New York Stock Exchange. So every single time there's going to be a trade that goes through to this, Just like in the current market that everybody, some people will be like, yeah, they don't own all that much. But guess what? They don't need to own all that much because every single trade that goes through, Citadel will make money on every single one. But they're not the market maker, so they're not going to have all that risk behind it as well. So basically, it's just like the current system, which one of the things that I have a super big problem with. Obviously, on top of that, Citadel's involved. If you look at this, it's running on a ATS. Well, we already hate ATSs, dark pools. Why would we want to switch over and get onto another ATS, dark pool? So on top of that, a lot of the market manipulation that's going on right now, like front running and all that stuff, if you look at SpeedRoute here, SpeedRoute actually has a whole bunch of fines in the past for front running. So if you look at blockchain, and if you go over and look at Bitcoin and things like that, the way that that's been manipulated, you still have spoofing. So there's still going to be layering, spoofing, one of the things everybody hates. So they'll still be able to manipulate the stock price. And on top of that, one of the things I want to go ahead and show everybody is if you look over here, and this is the other thing. So when I was talking about front running and then being the market maker. Now, this is inside of their own government, so in their own document. Does any of the employee broker operators or its affiliates, well, clearly they're an affiliate, have access to confidential trading information on top of the ATS. So basically, just like they do now, they're going to have access to all the data on top on the system, just like they currently do. So they'll basically have market maker data on the system. And now it gets real interesting here, you guys, because if you look, don't tell me I just lost it. No, right here. All right. Now it gets real interesting. So one of the things we all hate is what? The over-the-counter market. Why? Because that's where all the fuckery happens, does it not? That's where all the derivatives markets, that's why it's trillions of dollars, because we don't see what's going on. Now go ahead and read this line with me. In addition to traditional pricing data feeds, so basically you guys, right now, we see level 2 data. So that's the traditional pricing feed. So basically, think of it saying this way. In addition to the public data feed, BTS plans to offer a market data feed that will operate on a private blockchain. So you already see they have private blockchains in the back of this on top of that, where guess what? All the foolery is going to be going on. So like I said, you can already see it's the same market. It's the same guys in the background. They got all the setup to it. They're making all the money and doing every single thing that they're doing currently. It doesn't fix a lot of basically any of the problems. And on top of that, if you look at the way that they do requirements and things of that nature, is the reason it gets higher and higher is they have so much more risk on top of it on spread out and time. If time gets lowered, then all those deposits, the collaterals, all those things that we were so excited about, they'll lower those because they don't need as much on hand because that time risk is gone. So like I said, there's a lot of problems with this setup. And like I said, there's a ton of bad actors. And the fact that they have a private blockchain really is like, what the hell? On top of that, you're able to edit. You're able to edit a blockchain if you're T0. So now, how much A do you guys trust T0 on top of everything I just showed you? So, on top of that, another thing I want you guys to think of, this is really important. Now, if you have a fast, super fast computer, you have a super fast connection. Well, think about who has stuff like this. Citadel. How do you know that? Because they have satellite dishes in between each of these exchanges, so they can get to the exchange at such a rapid pace that they're able to do all this manipulation. Well, if you look at the way that this is set up, if you have those satellites and those things put around, you can actually hack nodes. And what you'll do is you'll lower the nodes. And then once the nodes are taking the time and the resources to correct it, if you have fast enough speed, you can actually write in the code of the blockchain before the blockchain actually comes in. And since you attack the nodes, it won't know when it accepted yours. When they get back on track, it won't accept the other one. So like I said, there's ways to manipulate it, and you can look at Bitcoin. And on top of that, with Bitcoin, one of the things everybody thought, hey, you know, we have to have it in wallets. There's no way to get around all the, you know, these certain rules. But if you looked over at China, they had Bitcoin that wasn't in Bitcoin wallets. So, I mean, there's ways around all these things. So, yes, it's a step in the right direction. But as you can see, there's a ton of downside. So, this new platform, I don't really know what you guys think. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the chat quick so everybody can see if you guys, I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts about this quick? I mean, I've showed you quite a bit of stuff. Like I said, you got a private blockchain. They can edit it. They can still hack it. They have the capabilities with the computers, with the software. On top of that, they can still front run. On top of that, they make on every single trade, they will make profit, just like they're doing as market makers. Like I said, front running's for sure thing. So I don't know what everybody wants to think. Like I said, I don't see many people asking very many questions in the chat. So without further ado, if anyone else has no questions, like I said, they still have all that access to all your information. So that's the other thing, you guys, that I want you to realize. Not that they don't have it anyways, but they'll still, no matter what, have like I said, have all your trade information, all of it, even stuff you aren't trading on this exchange. So not like I said, they're market makers, they got it anyways, but I don't know who the other affiliates are, is the thing. It says 6 others, so I mean, who knows? Who knows who the 6 others are? So like I said, more people could be getting our data that don't currently get it, but whatever, we'll move on. So basically what this video is going to do is I wanted to start off with like my Reddit here, hold on. We're going to go back into, I'm going to basically teach you guys a lot of stuff here that I started out. Man, I wanted to go back. Sorry, like I said, I didn't have very much time to... I'm from Minnesota. I didn't have very much time when I got home. My wife she left very, very late today. Let's see here, pull this up. So what I'm going to start doing is we're going to go over, like, the market structure, these certain things, these tactics. I'm going to go down each one of these. Like I said, we're going to get into family offices. We'll get into the CNS program. We'll go through all that stuff. I know you guys have questions about selling and all that stuff. We'll get into all that, whatever else you guys want to do. But first thing I want to do is, like I said, I want to make it to where education is our best tool. It's the best thing we can do. So when we go and talk to Congress, when we go and talk to people, when you want to actually go recruit other people or do other things like that, you can have a intelligent conversation with them, or these shills. You can find out who's a shill real quick or put them to rest real fast. If everybody knows what's going on top of that, when you guys see the line suddenly drop or something doesn't go right and people's TAs are going crazy, this should explain a lot of that. This is another reason why I say don't just watch the line all the time. For a year now, people have been watching the line, and for a year now, everybody's TA has been wrong. So at some point, like I said, there's so much stuff going on in the back end. This is the stuff we need to expose. And like I said, without further ado, let's just get into some of this stuff here. So 85% of T0. Sorry about that. All right, so without further ado, let's just get into the video here. I'm going to actually look over here more than. So I just want to get into what I started out doing a year ago. The first thing I ever did was January. It's like it was January 2nd. What I used to do is I had a buddy on here, and we used to have Market Chameleon, and we paid for the subscription where you could track the dark pools. And we used to... Hold on. Getting close. We used to track the dark pools, and what you would have is dark pool prints, and then what you do is we had a computer that was actually writing down every single trade that was going through, and we had a program and an algorithm that was running that was basically tell you how much... Okay, hold on, I can't find it, but basically, I'll get into it in a second here, but basically, this showed you guys that dark pools basically were being abused, but we didn't understand it at the time. And we didn't notice about the OTC market. We didn't know about ATSs. But basically, we were wondering why all these trades were registering in the dark pool, but they weren't, showing up. And then we ended up realizing that these other trades that we were finding, they weren't dark pool. They were just over-the-counter trades, ATS, internalization. So if I could get Mikey Danks back on here, I could get our algorithm back, and we could actually track every single thing going on. But of course, he's gone. Don't know where he went. But let's see here 1 second. Of course, like I said, I didn't have time to get situated. Sorry, guys. I know I'm getting real close. All right, this night. No, it's not it. All right, so yeah, 9 months ago. So basically, what we used to do, like I said, we would sit there and we take these dark pool prints, and you could go to darkpoolprints.com, I believe we used to do it, and you could actually see all the dark pool volume, everything that was unreported. And at the time, see, one of the things that people don't understand is these dark pools. Everybody thinks, our trades are going through these dark pools. All this stuff is dark pooling. The dark pools aren't used as much as everybody thinks. They're used really for these institutions. But what's happening is they're using, come over here, these internalizations. They're using self-clearing. They're using these ATSs. They're using all these other tactics, ISDA contracts, CNS program. They're using all sorts of things that they can go in and grab these shares. And basically, like I said, a lot of it you can't be tracked. So we used to believe right away, we used to track this basically every single day. And we had these layouts, like I said, for just months of this stuff. Just billions of dollars continuously going. We're like, where the hell is this going? Like I said, it's just crazy. But way back in the day when I first started, I thought it was the banks. I just didn't know about ISDA right away. Because you guys could see, like I said, the banks are running every single thing in this entire system right now, which is what's screwed up. But right now, the way that this works, like I said, just for people that don't, maybe they're newer, maybe you want to be able to explain some things, how they're doing this stuff. So you send an order to a broker. That broker sends it to a market maker. That market maker now has all of these ways he can fill that order. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to look, obviously, for the best way that they can make a little bit of money on each one of these trades, and they're going to kick it back. Do a kickback is what it's called to the broker for their payment for order flow. And most of the time, if they don't get it on payment for order flow, they will get that money, like I just showed you guys, through, what is that liquidity provider if you use an exchange. So basically, they always have some kind of way to, to make their money, of course. But let's go back over here again. So another thing they used to have was a trade reporting facility, but that went away. And well, it didn't go away, but it's basically not used as much. But like I said, so a lot of people thought these dark pools was what they were using. So a lot of people was using the term dark pools. They're using dark pools. They're using dark pools. No, what they were using is over-the-counter trading. And one of the reasons why it's so important to go to those lit exchanges is because if you go to this lit exchange here, it goes to what's called the level 2 data feed, which is the public data feed. And that's what we all see. Everybody who does options, everybody who looks at, order systems, the hundreds, all the ping pongs, that's the public data feed. So you really want your orders to go to that public data feed. See here. So, see, actually, I'm going to stop going over this. I'm sure a lot of people at this point know the mechanics now, like I said, but that's one of the things that a lot of people were getting wrong throughout this is dark pools. They say it all the time, and it's really not that dark pool. Sorry, man. Like I said, I've been running around all day. Let's see here. So let's go over this again. So after we went through dark pools, like I said, we ended up finding out about ISDA contracts. So I'm going to go over ISDA real quick. ISDA contracts and sham resets, in case you guys don't know what they are. This is a major way that these guys are able to hide short interest. This is a major way that they're able to dilute the stock, create synthetic shares, and do all these things with option plays. So if we go down here, read through this real quick, what they'll end up doing is they go to a bank, and this is usually always a giant market maker. And if you look, one of the things I always say is if you have a bank, if your bank is in ISDA, make sure that you get out of it, because we want to make sure that if we want this MOADS, everybody's always asking, what's the sell price? How much can we make? Well, we can make a whole bunch more if you guys take the banks down along with the hedge funds. And the way you do that is we attack these banks, we take our money out of them, so at that point, guess what? They'll end up having to charge more and more and more to open these ISDA contracts. It'll make it very, very hard. Should I take a minute and breathe? Give me a second, guys. I got an Under Armour. I got on a sweater, man. In Minnesota, it's like 10 degrees. I was shoveling. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, I'll talk about the plunge team in 1 second. All right, are we good? I think I'm good now. All right, so these sham resets, I'll finish these sham resets, and then we can get into the plunge team real quick. So with these sham resets, what they're doing is they're opening a contract with these banks, and what they used to do a long time ago before Phase 5, which now Phase 5, you have somebody oversee these deposits, which is the SEC. Which, if you guys trust the SEC, that's sweet. If you don't, obviously we went through a couple of the SEC members, and they're pretty corrupt. Starting with our favorite, Hester Pierce. But like I said, before Phase 5, these ISDA contracts were basically written on paper. They were between two people. They did not get cleared by the OCC. They didn't. Basically, it was between these two guys. So as long as one of the guys was like, "Yeah, you got the collateral, we're good to go," and they would shove these into these file cabinets. And this is how our derivatives market, it just got so out of hand to the point where we're quadrillions in the derivatives markets. It's insane. And if you guys watched Powell, everybody was so excited that, oh man, the government's looking into meme stocks. Well, it turns out all they did was basically see how fucked they were and then called in the plunge team. And you guys, I'm sure everybody saw that video. If you didn't see that video with the plunge team, I'll pull 1 second here. Oh. If we can pull a couple of things up here quick, give me 1 second. Got my things on there. Alright, this has it anyway. So, basically what the plunge team is, what the hell is it? Is Ronald Reagan, a long time ago, when we had Black Monday, basically made a secret little society at the time, but now we actually know way more about them. So it tells you it's the chairman, which we ended up learning. It was Janet Yellen. It was Jerome Powell, the governors of banks, and can't remember the last person is. Oh, the head of the SEC. So basically, Mr. Gearbear. So basically, what this team does is when there's catastrophic events, as you guys can see. Let's see here. I'll come down and read here. Blah blah blah. In other words, so basically, a lot of people say that they'll rig the prices of commodity and stocks. So in case there's a giant catastrophic event, there's going to be a point to where the banks are going to all fail out, and the economy will get crushed. They say that these people come in and they'll make bets on index funds, and they change all sorts of things like that to where basically they can get a secret bailout, but not tell the taxpayers. And this program actually uses the United States Treasury. So, what a joke that is. So basically, they use the taxpayers' money to bail them out behind closed doors when they know they're not going to get a bailout again. And a lot of people are talking, a lot of people are like, why didn't they use it in 2008? Well, you guys got to go read about the flash crash. They didn't know it was going to happen to where they could have came in and plunged it. They didn't have enough time to send in the plunge team in 2008. But there are other instances on this video. I can pull some up if you guys want to look at it. But a very, very good site, you guys, if you want to learn anything, is Investopedia. Always go to Investopedia. But like I said, they got the Federal Reserve, Governor of Federal Reserves, which guess who the Governor of Federal Reserves are? The bankers. So like I said, basically it's the bankers telling the president, hey, we need this sector and this sector propped up or we're going to fail because guess what? We're writing too many ISDA contracts, too many derivatives, we're spending too much money, and You guys, we can't keep printing. I mean, like I said, I don't know if you guys watched that Powell video, but he was like a deer in a headlight. Every single question they asked him, he had no answer. They asked him for dates. He had no dates. Like I said, the guy, they're running out of ideas. They're running out of avenues, and they're insanely panicking. I'm telling you, they're insanely panicking. And the fact that Melvin is going down, like I said, what are they going to do when Melvin goes down for a second time? Why did they bail out Melvin instead of Robin Hood? Are they going to be able to bail Melvin out again? They just sold stake in their company for $1.2 billion. Is he going to have to sell more stake in his company? Like I said, the fact that he's doing that in any way, shape, or form shows you guys that we're hurting him. Look at the guy. He looks like he aged 45 years in 1 year. Meanwhile, we're all sitting here laughing, having a good time, and learning. So, like I said, we got to be patient. The transparency thing's coming. The CAT system's getting new phases. The CAT system, in the end of the day, my honest opinion, I think what the government's doing, they're delaying it like we just saw with the plunge team. They're delaying it as much as they possibly can. I think what they're trying to do is fix rules, get rules in place to where, all right, once we fix this, let's not have it go right back to happen again, or let's find a most of these loopholes, if not all of them, and close most of these things. One of the things, like I said, you just saw on that exchange, I just showed you guys how it's basically the same exchange. They have a hidden blockchain. So, like I said, we gotta make it to where, why do we need, other than, there should be no over the counter. In the end of the day, you want a market that's fair, have a dark pool for just straight up institutionals. That's fine. I don't care. Hide it so people can't get. Well, in the end of the day, you wouldn't even need that. I don't know, man. Like I said, the SEC at this point, they're doing what they can. It's just, God, like I said, the swamp runs deep. How do you beat, if you're the SEC, how do you beat them? God, it's crazy, man. The government's helping them out. I don't know. Like I said, they got a lot to fix. The fines, the first thing they need to do is fix fines. I mean, until people go to jail or they start actually having to pay money, why on earth would they stop? Like we all say, you're never going to stop taking money when you make money stealing every single time, and it's just a slap on the wrist. But one of the big questions, so everybody keeps on talking and asking me. I just kind of want to get into this loot thing quick. I feel like I get that question now asked 1,000 times a day about his sell brackets. I hate putting sell brackets on anything. I hate putting a price on anything because I never, like I say every time, I don't want to cost anybody money. So you guys do what you want to do what's in your interest. But I mean, he says there's 3.6 trillion or whatever in hedge funds, but you guys also got to remember, first of all, there's banks involved. There's market makers involved. Still not going to take he heard two people sitting at a table. And they said Citadel's out of it. Bloomberg doesn't show they're out of it, so I don't know. The fact that they're still manipulating the price every single day shows me they're not out of it. Because guess what? If Citadel was out of it, these tiny little hedge funds at this point, they're not going to stop us. They're only able to stop us because they had the king market maker on their team. So, like I said, I don't know, man. Let's get back into more of these things here quick. But basically, so like we saw with the plunge team, they ended up basically making 3.1 trillion. And the index was supposed to crash, and then it flew back up. And that was on Tuesday. I can't remember what time it was at. Well, let's get back over here too. So I want to also quickly go back over into ISDA now before we keep going on. So these sham resets, before I forget and don't explain what they are. So basically they open a contract, blah, blah, blah. This is all in the derivatives, so we don't see any of this, of course. And it's with the banks. So basically they'll say, hey, I sent you 1,000 shares, okay? They'll say, I sent you a whole bunch of shares. We'll write flex options, blah, blah, blah. Married puts, buy rights. And basically, we're going to say, so this will remind you what happened on January 21st when everybody was so excited that they saw all those, puts out of the money. And I told you guys right away, they're going to have these. They probably grabbed those puts for $1 a piece, to the point where they were, like I said, there was no way they weren't going to go out of the money. So what they do now is they'll say, all right, I sent you all these shares. Tell me that you got them in your system. They'll say they have them, and then one of the regulators will come check all their system. Everything looks good to go. And then what ends up happening is, since they didn't send them, they never received them, the contract will basically cancel out, and it basically on both ends, their ends now, cancels out, and everything's balanced out, and they're good to go. And everybody's going to go, why can't they do that forever? Well, these guys are paying the banks to do this. They're still basically borrowing shares, borrowing money, and paying money to do this. So it's going to continuously cost money for them to do that. So, again, they can't do it forever. Give me 1 second here. Trying to see if anybody had any questions in the chat. 1 second. Yeah. So like I said, man, if they're calling in the plunge protection team, they're running out of options because these banks, they cannot keep writing it. Hedge funds are obviously going down, and like I said, the second Melvin goes down, you guys, what's going to happen? I already explained the super chat, dude. All right, so now let's keep going back. I want to go real quick. So the next thing I want to show everybody real quick, like I said, we're just going to go over the forms of manipulation I learned. Like I said, we'll go over family offices real quick, CNS program, what they all are, so you can, like I said, sit down with somebody, have a conversation, and explain what they are to other people so they know what they're looking at. Where is it? I'm just looking at these things for my documents, guys. Sorry, I'm not trying to take a look at these. So the CNS, wrong one. So the CNS program is how they make, this is what I call the synthetic printer. This is basically how they make fake shares. So when people ask you, you know, how are they making these fake shares, you can actually tell them, well, it's called the CNS program. It's called continuous net settlement. If you come down here in this document, I'll actually show you all of these are stored in the DTC. I'll go ahead and show you guys what it is. They use it basically as a netting program. So when you do a netting thing, you basically have a whole bunch of people. So this is going to be all the brokers and the banks and the market makers. And they have the DTC houses all this information. 1 second, let me see if I can pull it up on my... I got my netting chart on here. What the hell? Alright, 1 second. But basically, so like I said, it's called the CNS program, but if you come down here, read this quick, it says it hides billions of counterfeit shares that never make it to the reg show list. This is also how they kick the can on the FTDs and basically how they get off the reg show without covering their FTDs. A lot of people always wondered, how did they get off the reg show when the price never went up before it, when we were on it? This is how they use the CNS program. Basically, for companies that are under attack, the counterfeit shares that are created by the CNS program are thought to be 10 or 20 times the disclosed failure delivers. Basically, what this does is they call them strategic failure delivers in the industry. But basically, what it is, it's a stockpile of counterfeit shares that can be used for market manipulation. And this is how it works here with the netting. So basically, you have all these guys. You have the DTC, which houses all of this. They have all the shares, and as you guys can see, we all get digital receipts. So basically, with this continuous net settlement, they're able to go ahead and request shares, and it doesn't matter what the stock is. We'll get it. I'll pull up a couple more documents real quick. So it doesn't matter what kind of share it is. They basically get one long position and one short position in the end of the day, and it just cares about money. And basically, as long as they pay that up in the settlement, they can keep on passing shares around. We'll pull up the next thing here quick. 1 second here. It's actually, if you go to the DTC user website, CNS program, DTCC, pull up their thing. So one of the things I want to show everybody with the CNS program, like I said, once they make shares, if you actually come down here, there's a whole bunch of benefits. And if you read their benefits, where's the one about shorts? So members can exempt certain short positions to avoid segregation violations and effectively meet other delivery needs. So basically, as long as they are taking shares out, the market makers, and they have an obligation to fill another order and they don't have shares, well, they're allowed to go ahead and take it right out of this. So like I said, this is where they're getting these programs. And I'm sorry, this is where they're getting their synthetics. And a long time ago, in about 2014, there was a law passed by the SEC, and this is when they were like the most corrupt. And what it ended up doing is the NSCC is in charge of the people they're in charge of what are called buy-ins. And what this system originally was set up for is after 6 days, you would have to buy back your shares. And when they did a survey, the last survey was done in 2012. Now think about that. After 10 years and how much manipulation we know is going on and how many more people partake in it, you know that these numbers are like 70,000 times greater. So back in 2012 or 14 or whatever, they did the research, and there were 6,000 of these a day that were supposed to be bought back in. After the NSC rule got abolished by the SEC, 20 a day were getting filled out of 6,000. Well, that was 10 years ago. Can you guys imagine what the buy-in numbers are now? A day? They got to be 1 million. There's got to be 1 million a day, millions a day that are supposed to be bought in. And they're not paying them back because in the end of the day, after this rule got passed, where's my video? After this rule got passed by the NSCC, right here, after this rule got passed, all right, basically they're no longer allowed. Here's the thing right here. After this rule got passed, they're no longer allowed to force buy-ins. So now, in the end of the day, the market makers have nobody that can regulate anything they do or enforce anything. And this is one of the reasons why we're so fucked up. It's, like I said, you can't have the bankers, the DTC, they can't be in charge of the plunge protection team in case. They can't be writing ISDA contracts. They can't, be in charge of every derivatives. They can't be the one the market makers go to for loans. Because in the end of the day, when they go to them for loans, we're the ones bailing them out with the plunge team, I guess. Otherwise, we're bailing them out with their taxpayer money up front. So, basically, like I've been saying since the beginning, these banks are the problem. Everybody thinks it's the market makers. But the problem is the way the economy's set up is we can't let the banks fail, because if the banks fail, everything collapses. So that's what they're banking on. And like I said, we just bail everybody out in the end of the day. And that's why they're like, well, now that we know about this plunge team, like I said, we got to bring it to attention, get stuff like this eliminated. I mean, I get that they have a purpose, but like they need to start. None of this, the problem with the plunge team, it says, is none of this is recorded. It's literally like one of them walks up to the guy and says, hey, this is all messed up. We need you to fix this by changing the price here, here, and here, and then placing giant, bets on triple indexes so we can triple our investment quick on 50 billion and then throw it back to the banks. Like I said, it's just ridiculous. Let's see here. Let me move back over to the continuous net settlement, because one of the things I want to show you, like I said, here it is right here. So one of the things I wanted to show everybody, so with this continuous net settlement, on top of them not being able to force buy-ins after they make all these synthetic shares, if you look here, this is from the SEC's website. You guys, like I said, you can go read all these things. But the SEC, they say, market makers may maintain temporary short positions in the CNS until such times there's such significant trading to flatten out their position. Now think of how open term that is. Until there's a significant trading to flatten out their position. What does significant mean? Well, that's by interpretation 1,000%. There's no definition on when they need to technically put these back. So, like I said, the CNS program, this is the one video that I wish a lot more people dug into this stuff, because this is how they create synthetic shares. This is the main way they create them. And as long as you can explain that to people, how they make them, on top of ISDA contracts, like I said, we can start educating a lot of people. And if you want to look at ISDA members, Okay, and before I show you that here, if you actually look online on the bottom here, it'll show you the members. If you want to pull that up, I'm not going to pull the PDF up right now, but it's basically the problem with this is in the CNS program, y'all. Everybody knows that they're not allowed to trade with each other. They can't trade back and forth, but manipulation, blah blah blah. Well, in the CNS program, what they're doing is this is how they're getting around that. They have their subsidiaries, so you'll have Virtue in here, but it has 5 of its subsidiaries in here. So Virtue can sit there and trade back and forth with each other inside the CNS program, and that's legal. It's hidden, and on top of that, that's not market manipulation, even though it would be if they didn't use the CNS program. So as long as the government in the back end's getting theirs, basically what it's saying is manipulation's okay, as long as it's hidden in the back end. So like I said, it's crazy how this current system's set up. We can't have fines, because until people get barred from trading, if you guys look back, it's been like, I can't even remember the last time a major broker, a major dealer, a market, any of these guys have been barred from trading, but yet they'll sit there and have 50 to 60 to 70 violations over 5 years. I don't know if you guys follow Joshua James. He just posted a place that had 1 million violations in a year. I mean, think of how insane that is. None of us can go do 1 million crimes in a year and we're good to go. It's like, I think that anonymous message, honestly, was them just advertising for that coin or that crypto. But, I mean, it's still cool. I mean, they still talked about us. Or, you know, in the end of the day, it's still technically advertising or putting it out on Kenny, but I think it was more for their crypto, to be honest with you. What were we saying? So we're talking about so the CNS program. So let's go back to now. I'm gonna get into family offices. I'm not gonna look at any of this. I'm just gonna kind of go off track. If you guys have any questions, just ask. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep going from topic to topic on how they do manipulation. So the thing with family offices is they have 7.6 trillion compared to 3.1 trillion in hedge funds. So they're basically double the size of hedge funds. Most of the hedge funds in 2008, since they were all getting in trouble, all those regulations were coming in, the Dodd-Frank, what they ended up doing to get around all of that is they made family offices. Why? It sounds nice to everybody. Nobody's going to really think, oh man, the family office is out there manipulating the market. But what they are is they're unregulated. They don't have to fill out 13Fs, 13Ds. They don't have to do anything. They basically are trading under the radar. They don't have to follow the Investment Act of 1940. They have exemptions in basically every single corner. A lot of these people that made these, like the Cohen, a lot of these guys were getting in trouble before all this 2008. They were, constantly getting fined for bad behavior. So all of a sudden they make family offices. And one of the things a lot of people ask me is, do these family offices have algorithms and all this stuff trading for them? Yes, they do. Of course they do. They were hedge funds doing it with the same. They just brought their software over. They were hedge funds before it, and they're hedge funds the second they became one. I'm not saying all family offices are bad. There are some out there that are helping. But the problem is when you have a family office that has $171 billion and they're not being regulated, that one person, he can move whatever stock he pretty much wants, when he needs to. So, and nobody would know. It's like I said, a lot of this stuff is just insane. And like I said, these guys can take out any positions they want. The family offices are being abused for what they were created for. But, of course, why not? You have to be a multi-billionaire, basically, to have one. So, family offices are pretty much a big joke in the end of the day. Let's see here. Pull over. Does anyone have any questions before I keep going? I mean, a lot of people... I think I was talking about the selling. So a lot of people are asking if this could get over 500, 1,000, 1,500, 5,000, whatever. In the end of the day, it all depends on, like I said, what do you truly believe is going on? Do you believe, if you believe Lou and Citadel got out of it, And there's no market makers. You think there's no banks involved. And if you look at, well, the math, if you want to do it mathematically, you would look at how many hedge funds are involved, how much they're worth, and you could do the math that way, I guess. And maybe he's right on 1,000 to 1,200, but I don't believe that's the case that we're in. How can you believe that's the case that we're in after a year ago? I mean, what we've learned, how all these side things, all these, back end alleys, is all this stuff we're going over. The fact that they need that many different things to just try and suppress us, the fact they need the plunge team, Powell, everything. You guys, you can't sit there. Powell can't sit there over and over and over. Imagine if he can't go up there on each one of these press conferences and be like, "Hey, inflation's killing your people. Your people are struggling," and all he says is, "Well, they can get to work still. They can still drive and eat." And then say, I don't know, when people are saying, what are you going to do to fix anything? Eventually, people are going to start digging into it and see what we're doing. And what's going to happen when you have the entire United States now suddenly realizing what we've been digging into. They would be beyond screwed. So in the end of the day, they can't keep this up forever no matter what. They just can't. So, like I said, when it comes to selling, you need to ask yourself, do you think Citadel sold? Because if Citadel sold on top of it, it can go way, way higher than that. Like I said, the loss has a short has an infinite loss. I mean, you can lose more than you have. And I mean, it's a sad thing to bring up. But, I mean, you guys remember that kid a while ago that ended up killing himself because he ended up losing all that money on shorts. You think he had all that money financially? No. You can still make more than what these guys have. Their problem to figure it out after that. And like I said, if there were $3.1 trillion, the way we need to fix this market is we need to take $3.1 trillion. Like, fuck that, dude. None of us came here to kind of put a little dent in them, dude. Like, we want to get rid of this shit. We're not holding to do a little small, like I said, $800. You can't make videos for a year and a half saying 10,000, 15,000. No, we're not going to hit 100K. Anyone I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry, but if you're listening to Al from Boston, you're crazy. We're not going to hit 100K, 500K to a million. Let's be real. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to crash your parade, but it's not happening. Sorry to say it, guys. It's not happening. But like I said, we could definitely hit more than 1,000. It's just crazy. Because in the end of the day, like I said, one of these things people are not, even if you're not looking at how much the hedge funds have, well, guess what? When the squeeze happens, you guys, ask yourself this. Does that qualify as significant trading? How many of these synthetics now need to be covered? Nobody's talking about that on top of all the other money. On top of, like I said, man, nobody can tell you what this can go to. It could be an unbelievable amount. I don't know. I have no idea. That's honestly why I don't tell people. I'll give you a number because who the hell could tell you? In the end of the day, who knows? we don't even know how many secret people are even involved. What happens? Let me ask you this. You guys saw Archegos go down. What happens if a family office that none of us know about is holding AMC and they go down? What happens if we take down a couple family offices on a squeeze? There's all these other factors that nobody can tell you for certain. Hey, it's going to go to this because mathematically, this isn't a mathematical play to the exact T because you don't. There's too many unknown variables in the end of the day. So there's never been an event like this. One thing I always say in every one of my videos, they never planned the system. It's a Ponzi scheme. You need brand new money continuously coming in, spread out thin, so they can sit there and go, yeah, they can justify why you lost that money. Every single thing. You guys see it now. When we're in plays, why is it good news equals the stock go down? The stock shouldn't go down when good news comes. But when bad news comes, the stock goes up because they know people are going to sell. So then they buy when people sell, and then they sell when people buy. I mean, it's the same, or short when people buy. It's just ridiculous how this is set up. So, like I said, it's a giant Ponzi scheme. I want to show everybody, going off that, I wrote a playbook a long time ago on what we can do to win. Let me just see. I'm going to do like a quick scroll over. I'm going to add to it because I've learned a fuck ton more. I made this like 7 months ago. Look at this shit. Big Ken Griffin, he's all pissed, hanging. Little short ladders, some dark pools. But let's get back to the my playbook here. If I can, I'll just start saying it. I mean, I have memorized anyways. Oh, here we go. So, one of the things I wrote a long time ago was things retail can start doing once I learned about, dark pools, the banks, pretty much all this back end stuff that's going on. Because if you start attacking, I mean, the problem is like I said, they're borrowing from rich guys. You have rich people borrowing from richer people who are borrowing from richer people. Well, eventually, the way the economy and the world's set up is all these guys have all this money and it's in derivatives, it's in assets. It's not like they have all this cash. It's in like artwork. It's in all this stuff to where it's like I said, you can't really tell how rich these guys really are, and that's the way they like it. So there's like I said, there's too many factors to go ahead and put into how high this can go. But you want to go ahead and take away their credit, because if you take, one of the guys said, one of the biggest hedge funds, one of his quotes was, money's nice but credit's better. So if you can sit there and take away the people that they're giving them the credit, the banks that are helping them in the back, you start hurting them. They don't have anybody to go to at that point. They have no one to go to bail them out. You can't sit there and plunge team it up every single day. Can you imagine the uproar if the American people found out they're just plunge teaming it away for a month and a half? People would become fucking ballistic. We'd be storming the streets. There's no way. So, see, like I said, you want to attack you want to attack them and their ways of income, and B, every single one of their guys. Because the one thing that people don't understand in a play like this is you have an opponent. We have an opponent. When you do a normal stock plays, usually when you're going long on a position, you buy that position. Why? Because you think the company will have success in the future. You want to get in low. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. Maybe you love stock. There's a whole bunch of reasons why you want to get into it. But when you're having a short position, you have an opponent that wants to take all your money. So what you want to do, you want to stop them from doing that. You always got to remember that. You have an opponent in this play. So what do? One of the main ways they make money is payment for order flow. The fact we already figured it out, Ken's already freaking out. So, take payment for order flow away. These banks, like I said, take your money out of these banks. Go to a credit union. Go to a local mom and pop bank. If these banks are losing money, they can't write ISDA contracts, the derivative market starts getting messed up. Guess what? The banks are the ones who are going to do the margin calls. When the banks are struggling, they're going to have to pull margins out to make it all back. We got to force the banks to margin call if you want them to do it. And the way you do that, you fuck them up. You take all your money out. I mean, what do you guys think they're doing? You guys have your money in their account, and they're fucking you in the back end with your money that's in your savings, and then they're fucking you in the other end in the back end on the stock market. And then on top of that, they're fucking you on inflation. And on top of that, they're fucking you in taxes. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. At least use some lubricant at some point. Good God. So, like I said, you want to take these banks and hurt them. Almost every credit union still has, it's a federal insurance of still the $250,000. There's a whole bunch of other benefits to using them. So, like I said, definitely something to think about. The thing also is these bonds. So one of the ways that these guys, because you have bonds and stocks, and this is another way that these guys naturally hedge for each other. So when stocks go down, bonds go up because they have a natural negative hedge, or a negative inverse. So basically, like I said, when one goes up, the other goes down. So when they sit there and short the hell out of us, they're making a ton of money shorting us in this end. And now if you go look at the bond market where they have all of their derivatives, they have all their assets, they have all this. Well, that's been doing nothing but go up and up and up since they've been shorting. Now, a lot of people are like, what's going on with the stock price? You guys got to realize what's happening, going on with AMC as a company, going on with, these shorts. So what they're trying to do, they see AMC, if we don't keep smashing, these ticket sales. If we don't keep supporting them, AMC is going to have a hard time smashing through this debt. We got to keep doing it. When this popcorn comes out, they have a 90% margin they make on that profit. You guys, that's huge. We need to make sure that that's a #1 selling thing. We need to make it to where we are sitting there continuously supporting the company, coming up with any ideas we can, because as long as the company stays profitable, they're fucked anyways. But let's keep going down. So I'm not gonna get super into options, but if you guys don't know how to play options, they're honestly better to stay away, because you guys, this is a Ponzi scheme. They need constant source of new incoming revenue. This was made by Bernie Madoff. This guy is he's the godfather of Ponzi schemes. So at this point, how do you stop the Ponzi scheme? You stop putting money. Like I said, don't do these weekly dumb, oh man, I'm going to do 145, tomorrow's the day. Next week's the day I got to get a $145 call. Not financial advice, if you guys want to do it, but that's the stuff that they love. They love these crazy call options. They love the stuff where, all right, put it out a month, but do $100 calls. If you want to do option plays, educate yourself on them. They're always a risk, even if you know what you're doing. But like I said, we want to make sure that the money that these guys are getting, because I don't know if you guys follow Dave Lauer. If you don't follow Dave Lauer, definitely do that. The guy is super, super intelligent. He ended up telling everybody that these market makers write about 40% of all options. Think of how much money they're getting in premiums because they can control the price. So every single week, if you guys really care to know what the price is going to finish at, go look at what the max pain is going to be on AMC for the next month or two, and that's what AMC is going to be around for a while. That's what they're going to do. They've been doing it for the last 6 straight months because they need to collect premiums right now. They have to collect premiums to keep the price down because they know the best thing AMC can do right now is refinance that debt because they're paying so much money in interest. So if they can refinance, dude, we'll be in a way better place than we are. So what can you do to stop us from refinancing? Lower the shit out of the stock. And now they can't. They have a way harder time refinancing. Adam Aaron said right away, next year we're going to focus on refinancing. So what did they do? They smashed the hell out of it. We're right back to 21%. They probably diluted the shit out of it in the CNS. Did all these other tricks I just showed you. Probably called up a family office. If you guys look at the stock market, if you Google central bank regime, that's currently what we're in. Because basically, like I said, the central banks, they run everything. They're in charge of everything. They're the baddest actors of them all. They're the ones letting everything happen, and they're the ones funneling it. You can't have banks like Goldman and Sachs. See, this is what is very upsetting. What the hell was he, CEO? This is why it's beyond retarded. You have people like this, where you have a company that's leveraged 136 to 1. 136 to 1. If you're leveraged that much, how is he getting a raise? You see what I'm saying? This is what the problem is. You can't sit there and let these guys run amok and then just keep giving themselves raises and then run the entire system. Like I said, the biggest problem with this system right now is people who are regulating have access to the OTC market. They're the market makers. They're every single thing that is wrong with it. And like we said, there's no fines. So what are you going to do? Who cares? So what do we got to do? Me and a couple other people, I have a list of everybody who is in politics. I'm going to put that out probably next week, if not this weekend, actually. Probably get on a day or two if I can. But it has every single politician, and we went into deep stuff. We didn't just go on that one website everybody does. We went on like 15 of them. And we found every single politician. And then on top of that, any news article we could find along the way. And every single one of these guys that are getting paid, we got to get them the hell out. In the end of the day, these guys are all writing, laws that are helping these guys. They're all taking bribes. They're all taking paid speeches. Well, if you look at this one group, it's like Wilmer Hale. So everybody always wonders. So everybody's like, there's got to be a mastermind. There's got to be a group of people behind this that is, coming up with all these laws, finding all these gray areas. Who are we trying to outsmart? Well, these are the people that we're going after. In the end of the day, this is their brain behind the whole operation. Called Wilmer and Hale, this law firm. They're basically the lawyers writing everything. Every single one of these guys that come out of this law firm magically goes into the SEC, or they magically go straight into Citadel or Virtue, and they don't just go straight into them. They're like instantly hey, I'm a super high chief specialist strategy, number 4 in the company. And it's like, you don't just, like I said, this is where they're all coming from. I've showed you guys in the video with the government, there were like 4 or 5 of them that we went through. Every one of them came from this, even our best friend Hester Pierce. So this is the people that we need to worry about, do more research on, and like I said, find out anybody that's coming from this. They're coming from this place, fuck them. Like I said, they don't need to be on any of these regulators. Hester Pierce alone, I could go back and show you guys her. She's a commissioner of the SEC. She literally works and gets paid 98% of her salary from a foundation in a company that is founded by a family office, the Koch brothers, and basically they want to do anything they can think of for deregulation. I mean, think how insane that is. They think self-regulation is the best way to go, and there needs to be less regulation on banks. And this is the SEC, one of the commissioners. I mean, that is, to me, honestly insane that somebody that can be against regulation is a head regulator. So, said there's so much corruption, it's to the point of ridiculous. Go to dark pools, ATSs. So, like I said, what we can do, we can vote. We can take our money out of these banks. What you want to do also is order 2-lit exchanges as much as you can. Why? Because it takes them out of the ATSs. The number one way that these guys make money is called internalization and self-clearing. Well, they can't do that if you guys are filling the orders on these lit exchanges. But if you guys let them do it in the OTC market, they're going to do it almost every single time because it's how they make their most profit. So if we go back to that, I don't know if I have it up anymore. Sorry. Yeah, I don't have that chart up anymore. Fuck it. So if we go back to that chart, like I said, you'll go straight down to the exchange, and you take away their ability to go to the CNS program, a dark pool. So going to these lit exchanges is huge. And and the one thing about lit exchanges is you can watch the public data feed, and you see your order being placed. A lot of people ask me, how do I know if I'm ordering to a lit exchange if it's actually going through or if my order's taking place? The way you know is because you can go on the actual chart, zoom in, and you can actually watch your volume and your tick go up the second you place the order. So you should see it, and the only way that you see that is if it goes through an exchange and hits the public data feed. So that's your proof that it's going through. Let's see here, let me go back. I'm going to just come down quick, see if anyone has any questions. Sorry, I haven't been able to look at the chat. I don't know if anybody's asking. Does anyone have any questions before I keep going? About anything? Alright, I don't think anyone really has anything to say. So we got the plunge protection team. But, like I said, in the end of the day, our biggest factor, the thing they had against them right away was us getting bored, time, dragging this on. But now that is turning against them because more of this is getting exposed. And like I said, you can't have Paul up there every single week panicking, saying, I don't know. That's not going to fly with us very long. Man, I don't know. I don't know what else to really go over. Right this second here. Give me 1 second here. I had a whole bunch of written down, but I didn't get to. So we went over CNS. Pull my YouTube. I know I'm missing stuff. We went family offices. YouTube. Oh, okay. So this is the other thing. If you're an AMC, that we need to start looking into. I don't feel like we have very many eyes on it, and it's pretty suspect. But there's this team that owns debt. So one of the things I want to talk about quick for AMC is the debt holders, because obviously the debt holders of all this matter quite a bit. In 2026, there's this company called Apollo Management Group, and they have a lot of money. This is one of the reasons too. So a lot of people sit there and say, you know, maybe we'll have to stop at whatever, this Apollo Management Group. Is worth like fucking. They're worth like. Yeah, so they have. I don't remember this right one here. Yeah, they have another $455.5 billion. So they hold this bond, and if you guys remember, so one of the things I'm going to tell you guys is predatory attack. So one of the reasons that, you know, you guys haven't seen technology boom, why you haven't seen, you know, why are we still on gasoline and all these, you know, things that we should have figured out years ago. Well, one of the things that they do is this predatory attack. So what they'll do is they do what they did to AMC. They're going to go to AMC and say, hey, I want to give you guys these bonds, and we're going to attach to these convertible notes. So down the road, we're going to take interest payments along the way, but at the same time, when, you know, the time comes, I'm going to switch my convertible notes into shares. So along the way, I'm going to keep buying shares, bashing your company. I'm going to go ahead and keep shorting your company so you can't get loans. The only place you can go to get loans, guess what, is through me. And I'll keep giving you more bonds and bonds and bonds until, you know, I have enough shares in the back end to switch my convertible notes over, and now I'm the majority shareholder. Well, this Apollo Management Group, and we'll get into Adam Aaron in a second, because I know everybody's going to want to talk about him in a second. But basically, if you look at this Apollo Management Group, they have one of the biggest, you know, bonds, the debt. They hold one of the biggest debts that AMC has. They wanted to, in 2004, they actually owned the company. They ended up selling it, and then they ended up selling them these debts. Well, they wanted them to go bankrupt. Why? Because if they go bankrupt, they make all that money. They get their assets. They get that $1.7 billion that's sitting in their bank. They got a lot of money. They'll get a whole bunch of money for it. So, of course, naturally, this company is shorting AMC. They could, I honestly don't know, but they could be one of the biggest shorters of AMC. Like I said, they hold their debt, and what they wanted to do was do that strategy I just told you to AMC. Why? Because when you do that too, so I was saying with like the gas companies, let's say they do that, they take over the company. Well, guess what? They're now owners of the patents. So a lot of technology that was going to come out that would fix them or hurt their money or hurt their bottom dollar, what they do is they take over the patent. They fire everybody that was working on it. Then they bury that patent, so it never sees the light of day. And that's how our entire, our technology was going up, and it came to a crashing halt. Because anytime that there's anything that's worth taking, they take it. So that's another thing. So this Apollo Management Group is definitely somebody that we need to be paying close attention to. And if they are as deep as I think they are, well, there's another $500 billion that we could get. So, like I said, for anybody to say it might hit $800 and stop, and they don't take account into any of these, I mean, like I said, that's just crazy. The way that this is one of the biggest squeezes is the MOAS. This is something we've talked about. There's been squeezes 7 times that size. There's been both ways. There's a whole bunch, like I said, 800, 1,000, 1,500. It could definitely get way more than that. The thing is, guess what? If everybody holds and it hits 1,000, and everybody still holds and it's 1,500, and everybody still holds, it could definitely hit that. It all depends on how high we hold, how bad we want it. Like I said, nobody can give you that number. So you guys do your own research, pick a number in your head. Always have that backup number in case it does go up to a certain number, it comes down, you're panicking. And like I said, whatever you do, when you sell, make sure you're okay with it, no matter what happens. Don't sell and then suddenly be like, it went up maybe $50 later, and you go regret it. Unless you want to play it again. I mean, the one thing that's a lot of people don't think about is you can sell. Then you can play it on the way up. You can play it on the way down. You can open puts because once the squeeze is done, guess what? It's going to drop way back down. get a big put, get a really, really low put, because eventually it could go from 1,000. You get a put at $20, might not cost that much. And my God, could you imagine when it drops all the way back down and everyone sells? There's plenty of things you guys can do to make more money on this play than just one time, one sell, and that's it. But like I said, don't like end up getting so distraught over the price after. And like I said, I know a couple people that are so freaked out that, oh man, what if I sell at 800 and it goes to 1,500 after? I'm gonna just want to kill myself. It's like, no, just relax. I mean, like I said, do your research, have a number in case. Always have a backup number. But like I said, we're all home for life-changing money. So I'm not gonna say it's gonna stop at 1,000. I definitely don't see it stopping at 1,000. I think too many apes, way too many apes, way too many eyes, way too much people borrowed, way too many people borrowed. There's trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions worth of assets for these people that have been shorting AMC, and guess what? They got caught red-handed, and it's time they pay. But let's see here. So I'm done with the Apollo Management Group. What else? Here. But also, like I said, that the Apollo Management Group, one of the things that did upset me is Adam Aaron said, or I can't remember who it was, what's his name? He was like the head of something over at AMC. They said that there's no more convertible notes issued. Well, there actually technically is. In 2026, they have enough to worth 600 million worth of shares, which could be a crap ton. So definitely, like I said, that Apollo Management Group, something we need to look at. And yes, Adam Aaron did work at this place for like ever. And then he ended up going over to AMC. So a lot of people thought a long time ago that that is one of the reasons he's a planted shill. I don't know, man. I'm not going to go into Adam Aaron right now. I don't need everyone riding on Adam Aaron getting all crabby. We're going to go back into the market. But, let's see. So once, well, we went over DCC, banks. So, like I said, my playbook, our best 5, 6, 7 strategies, like I said, lit exchange. If you don't know options, stop playing them. Don't give more money into the Ponzi scheme. It's how it keeps going. Banks. Look up your bank. Is it an ISDA? If it is, take your money out of that bank. Politicians. We need to find out the politicians that are taking money from them. Step 5, get them the fuck out. But either way, this is just how we fix the market. This isn't saying that the squeeze isn't going to happen with this, because I don't think that I can't see this, honest to God, going very much longer. I really don't. The fact that think about in the history of ever, when have you guys seen a guy go up on there and say, I don't know about every single answer. I have no idea, no dates, nothing, we don't know. We're looking into it, I don't know. Like, that ain't going to fly, man. There's no way. They can't hide this. What is my lowest bracket? What's the lowest? Like, I don't know, man. I don't really, like I said, I don't really want to give out brackets. That I like to say, do your own DD and learn. Like I said, it all depends on your shares, man. Like, there's not necessarily a set number you need to have. Everybody's situation is so different anyways. I don't know what you're looking to make. How low do you think they can drag it down? I don't see how they drag it down much more. I mean, you still got institutions that are buying, but who knows? They seem to be able to have the ability to do anything. I don't really care. I got my tax return coming soon, so if they want to lower it down to single digits, dude, that whole thing will go into there. I don't care. That's fine. That's the other thing they're not really counting on. What are they going to do when tax return comes and half of us shuffle back in? They're going to be hurting. And on top of that, they still have 21 short percent. We're feeling pretty, my friends. Greedy for wanting more than stop buying? No, I don't think you should ever stop buying. The way that you win is you make them continuously keep buying or borrowing from richer people, because then eventually you guys, richer people, are going to say, fuck it, I want my money back. What are they going to do when these banks stop, like I said, loaning them money, or they need way more money up front? How are they going to keep shorting us? But I don't think stop buying is really going to do anything at this point. keep buying, keep putting that pressure on, man. That's the one thing. If we continuously buy, and by the time, I mean, we already know, I feel like we have the float once or twice over. If we did it for another year, you guys see on Webull, you guys see the OBV volume, you guys see on Fidelity, all these apps, it's like every single day it's an 80-70% sell to buy ratio. You know no one's selling. The only people that are selling, maybe you're, like I said, somebody who bought in 5 shares a long time ago and to be part of the movement might have moved on. But in April, buy that times 500 that day, so it's not even no big deal. Let's see here. What else we can go over to? Trying to think what else we should cover quick before we I don't see very many questions. I thought I was gonna be getting way more questions here. Smaller apes, life-changing money is not happening for them. If you bought something at 5, 10, 20, 30 bucks and it went up to 1,500, that per one, that's not. Like I said, man, I'm just trying to be realistic. You think that it's gonna go up to 500,000, 100,000? I don't know if there's that much money in the world to even cover something like that. And the one thing that a lot of people see, you also got to look at the one thing everybody was banking on and saying all the time is this: there's this DTCC insurance policy for whatever, the 63 trillion or whatever. That's not what it was. It's not an insurance policy. They had 63 trillion in assets that they have currently trading through them or that they're currently in charge of. So it's not necessarily them saying that it's an insurance policy. Do I see 5K? Yeah. I think it could hit 5K, man. I don't know. Definitely could. I mean, like I said, it's so hard to tell a bracket and everything because, like I said, who knows when these guys. What happens, you guys, when a MOAS happens? Here's the thing you got to look at. Back when GameStop was blown up, and yes, GameStop's float's way less. But when GameStop was talking, or that one guy was talking, I can't remember his name. But when he was talking about the GameStop thing, what the hell was his name? He was saying that it would have went up into the thousands and thousands if they wouldn't remove the buy button. That's the other thing you guys got to think of too. Okay, let's say that they have $1 trillion over there. Well, what over in the hedge funds? Well, like I said, you got the banks, you got this Apollo, you got all these family offices. What happens when FOMO kicks in? What happens when other average people go, fuck it, I'm going to buy it. If it's going up to 1,000 a share, when's when they start kicking in too? Just like you saw with GameStop. That's why they had to remove the buy button, because all of a sudden they had retail on top of it coming in and coming in and coming in. So you also got to think, what are retail people willing to pay for it also? That could raise it. There's so many factors that could raise it to be like, mathematically, the hedge funds have $3 trillion, so it can only go to 800. No. Well, John, you could technically say we've already bought all the shares, so alright, it's like Volkswagen in that sense, but or Piggly Wiggly in that sense. I mean, not Volkswagen. I wasn't comparing it to Volkswagen. I'm just saying other squeezes, other situations. Volkswagen was only at the time shorted 12% too. We're shorted 21 or 22 or whatever it is that we know of. And that's not even counting synthetics. That's not counting all these CNS programs, all this other stuff. Is the contracts, Apollo. You got a lot of stuff that are gonna have to be paying money for this play. And that's the other thing. If we actually all hold 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 right away. They gotta buy at that price right away. How high it can go is how much you guys are willing to hold and trust each other in the end of the day. Because all it takes is a whole bunch of people to start panicking. But like I said, now if they panic, buy back in. That's the thing, man. They can panic, buy back in, have more money, can lower a little bit, and they buy back in. I mean, you never know. This squeeze could be crazy. But one thing is when you look at all the squeezes in the past, you've never had so many players in the game that are going to continuously keep buying in and maybe continuously raising it themselves. So like I said, man, it could be, who knows? It could be crazy. What happened with the shares that got put into the dark pool, the OTC shares, they got put into an ISDA contract and shipped over to somebody and hidden away. Is there any more questions? I mean, I feel like we've covered quite a bit of stuff. But yeah, this Apollo, like I said, in 2001, they actually acquired the company. In 2004, they invested in 2001, acquired the company 2004. They basically told them that they wanted them to go bankrupt. They fully expected it to go bankrupt, so they basically tried to buy out all of their bonds, convertible notes, blah, blah, blah. So like I said, this Apollo Management Group, they're shorting the hell out of AMC. So make sure you guys are looking into that. $500 is, I agree. If you sold for $500, I think you're crazy. But that's just me. You do what you want, not financial advice. You do you. Like I said, if you have 10,000 shares and you want to sell 500, who am I to tell you no? But that's the thing, man. The one thing about this movement is how together are we? This was my number 6 thing. And it's cheesy as fuck on my how to win. Number 6 is we need to come together as a community. Why? Because when it does come time to sell, we need to have faith and trust in each other that we're going to hold right away. So it does get to that 2 to 3 to 4,000 and people aren't selling out at 500. You guys didn't hold on this to get to 500. GameStop would have went into the thousands. They even basically said it. And on top of that, when you looked at the GameStop report, they even said that basically there wasn't even all that much covering going on. What they were covering, though, because this is what I believe happened during the GameStop thing. Because even the SEC said there wasn't the covering going on, but they said there was some covering going on, but not the shorts covering. What's that tell you? If you look over at the CNS program, guess what? They all started buying GameStop, started flying. So what I believe happened is the CNS program had that significant volume I was talking to you guys about. And the second that significant volume happened, the CNS program shares, what the hell is that thing? The CNS program shares, those buy-ins had to be done. So there was some covering from those CNS program, which changes dilution. Maybe there was a little bit of covering from some hedge funds, but even they said that there really wasn't any covering going on. So like I said, if it was going to go into the thousands at that point, what's going to happen when there's significant volume in AMC? Those CNS program shares need to be bought back and the hedge funds buy back. Like I said, it could easily go into the thousands. It could easily hit 5,000, 10,000. Like I said, it all depends on how much as a community. Again, we trust each other. We all hold. We all go, all right, we got this. I mean, if we would have, not got cheated out of our GameStop shit, we would have had a good idea what could have happened. But the thing is, it's like, there's no way. Do I believe that they could push the volume off again? No. The whole world would start pulling out of the United States economy. Everybody would. There's no way. My mom, she's all right, man. I mean, she's getting through. She's got chemo, doing her thing. I mean, chemo sucks. She never has energy. She's losing her hair. It's chemo, man. Luna or Lou? You got to go with Luna, dude. If Shelf has to put the shorts with stuff. What's stopping them from covering? Well, if it got up that high and they started doing that covering, I don't see how any of these other people don't get margined. I don't see how, like I said, if you have this Apollo management group, things of that nature, they could afford theirs as well. You have too many laws to the point. See, the thing is you guys, they're doing all these laws, they're doing all these transparencies, and you guys, I know you don't believe it, but they still, SEC, Gary and all this, they want this shit to happen. They want a correction to happen. They want us to get paid in the end of the day, because all these rules and all these things they're doing, until they have that correction and get this kind of back on track a little bit, they're never going to have to stop writing new rules because it's going to be still so fucked up. They want it done. Everyone wants this done, dude. Trust me, the whole world wants to move on. Powell's face said it all. They just don't know how to do it yet because, like I said, the Ponzi scheme. Think about this, you guys. Look at all the biggest Ponzi schemes in the world. Eventually, they all came crashing down. What happens when the United States' biggest Ponzi scheme we call a stock market comes crashing down? They're panicking. That's what they're thinking right now, and we're all looking at it like, well, you shouldn't have stolen fucking $20 quadrillion in the first place, you piece of shit. It's not our problem. Give us our fucking money back. And that's exactly how we should feel. It's a fucking joke. I don't know how many days the squeeze will last for. Honestly, I don't know. No one will know that answer. It depends on what they do, how long they let it go for. Does the government end up salting it, squeezing? I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that could happen. Who knows? The other thing is like, okay, a lot of people aren't looking at the CAT system. The CAT system event this year, a lot of people are so concerned about naked shorting. The CAT system with this new customer ID and the broker ID, tomorrow we got a new thing going. It's just in the test phase, unfortunately. But you got to test stuff before it works. Let me go my Twitter quick. Posted this earlier. So, the test phase comes on tomorrow where they're going to grab personal data. What they wanted to do originally was they were going to take our actual name. They're going to take our address down, zip code, all that stuff. And they were actually going to attach that to the trades. But they ended up thinking that was too, somebody hacked them. That was too personal. So what they ended up doing now is they're going to attach to all the trades in the CAT system a customer ID. And it's going to attach a broker ID. So now every single trade, they'll know exactly who and what broker owns exactly what stock. Or what shares, I mean. So everybody wanting to go, yeah, we need to go to blockchain and all that stuff, the CAT system will do that. Now, on top of that, the other thing I'm super excited for, we got his Phase 6 coming up this year. Where the heck is the... Find it in a second. So Phase 6, so like I was talking to you guys about those derivative contracts. Basically, nobody's watching those derivative contracts. Nobody was overlooking them. Well, right now what they're doing is they're overwatching anybody that has $50 billion or more. Well, that's only, right now, it's like 17%. So basically, 17% of all ISDA contracts are being watched over by the SEC, and they're watching the deposit. Well, that means other, 77%, or whatever I said, 80, 73, or whatever, they're not being watched still. So they can still write these ISDA contracts technically, and they can still throw them in the bin. Well, phase 6 happens this year, and what that will actually go do is it'll take it from the 17% or 13 or whatever it was to 67%, which that's a massive, massive jump. So a lot more of these people in the back end after phase 6 starts is going to be tracked as well, which is still not being tracked. So at the end of the day, more and more and more and more of these rules are getting passed. Transparency's coming out. Regulations where there wasn't any before are happening. It's all because of us. Like I said, as long as we keep bringing stuff to light, these guys are going to be screwed, dude. They can't sit there and use these repos forever. They can't use the plunge team every single time. When you looked at those articles and read anything about the plunge team, they haven't ever in the history before, technically that we've known of. I guess we don't know because they've got secret little meetings, but that we've known of, they haven't done it more than sorry, I was reading Wired's thing. They've never used them more than once in a year, though. So as far as we know, but like I said, they can't just sit there and keep going to the United States Treasury and dipping it like it's fucking candy. Yeah, they own the media, man. They own the world, man. That's why they're the 1%. They own everything. They own all technology. Like I said, that's why our technology came to a crashing halt. They did this crap in the stock market, and then they took all the patents and crushed them away. So it's crazy what they're able to do. But the problem is everyone writing the laws, guess what? They're all lawyers. All these politicians are ex-lawyers. So they know how to get around everything. They know how to get all the gray areas because they're writing all the gray areas for the people who are giving them bribes. So it's like a massive casino to protect this for the 1% to protect it at all costs. It's just crazy. Watch some Lou. You want me to watch while you start the AMC's done? Should we check it out? No, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, I mean those 6 things I said right there, you guys. Those 6 things, if we start doing them, actually start doing them, it will change a lot. The problem is I couldn't even for the last year get people to order the lit exchanges. They're still using Weeble. They're still using Robinhood. I got people on Moo. It's like, what are we doing, people? We gotta grow. 2022, what we need to focus on is growing and like I said, learning out these controllables that we have, because we do have controllables that we can make changes on. I don't know the loose sound effect. The thing where he does the with his hand. Here, I'll go ahead and switch the screen here so we don't need to stare at these chicks. But like I said, you got Melvin Capital. Like I said, you guys, they're losing money like crazy. Eventually, it's all gonna come crashing down. What do you think of Charlie's vids? I mean, he's got a temper, but he finds a lot of good information. He's not always right, but that dude finds more information than anybody I know. I don't know why they can. That's not the question I get asked a lot. I have no idea why the SEC continuously posts stuff about suspending stocks. What about DRS? I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of DRS. I already put up all my computer share information. Yeah, Charlie smoked some weed, man. I think he'd be feeling a lot better. Maybe he wouldn't be so cranky all the time. But I love Charlie. I mean, like I said, he's a smart guy. He just calm the fuck down. Evergrande done? Yes, Evergrande should be done, but who knows, man? Apparently, all these banks don't need to pay their coupons. They don't need to do what they can do whatever they want. So Who knows, man? They should have defaulted months ago. So I think they ran a simulation of the MOAS. I'm sure they did some kind of thing, or they're doing something with Powell and them to try and figure out what the numbers are that are going to cause what events to the economy, but no, they can't suspend it and cover then. It's suspended. I use Fidelity because they have their own clearing, and you can order through Lit Exchange on their beta. You can do it on their cell phone now and their computer, so it's a lot easier. I got a video up on every single platform if you want to see if yours can go to Lit Exchange or not. Spider-Man, hell yeah, dude! Spider-Man's killed it. What about GME? What about GME? I think GME's gonna explode too. I think all those POF, man, you already see them. You already see Robinhood stock. I don't think they're gonna survive. That's the thing with companies. That's what Fidelity learned right away. You either, do what your customers want, get with the program, or you get left behind, dude. All these POF, they gotta go. How do you make a change? How do you get rid of POF? You do it by ordering to a Lit Exchange, and you don't even worry about it being out there. Because if everyone just gets informed on it, educated, and nobody orders through the POF thing, they just use the Lit Exchange, it doesn't matter that if it's even in the United States anymore. But yeah, obviously getting rid of POF would be sweet. What rule are you looking at? Are you talking about the CAT rule? The customer information one? That's July. Selecting the New York Stock Exchange. No, I don't recommend using the New York Stock Exchange. If you guys look at the history of the New York Stock Exchange, the reason Citadel ended up becoming a superpower is they ended up going to the chairman and they bribed his wife, and she ended up basically passing this agreement for ICM, and basically that's how they became a superpower. So I try and stay away from the New York Stock Exchange. They're definitely friends with Citadel. They've helped them out in the past in taking bribes, and they're their liquidity provider as well. So anytime I can not order the New York Stock Exchange is a good day. I would say no, you definitely don't need to DRS your shares, my friend. But if you want to, I mean, like I said, there's always things you can do. Go look at. But if you're going to DRS, definitely look at the selling process. Definitely look at everything. Make sure you 100% do your due diligence on it, because ain't no going back after. Selling on a Lit Exchange. If you sell on a Lit Exchange, you should get you're going to get filled before you sell on a payment for order flow. A lot of people ask me, is it worth switching from Webull to anything else? In my personal opinion, I would, because if you're going to send it to the market maker during the squeeze, I mean, think about it this way. If it's squeezing right now and you're sending it to Citadel, what do you think Citadel is going to do? They're going to go ahead and in any single way, shape, or form, they're going to take this little pyramid we got over here, because you're now given the ability to do it in the OTC market, and they're going to fill it at whatever price, especially if you do it at a market price. Maybe they're going to stall, do something to where you could lose money. So at the end of the day, if you can go ahead and sell on a lit exchange, you're cutting out the middleman, and you're telling them they have to sell on that exchange at that price. So you'll get filled faster, which also can make you money if, you know, a matter of 2, 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes when it's squeezing a second, 20 seconds, that could be a big deal. The one thing I will say when you guys buy on IEX LTSE, but when it comes to selling, you could sell on the NASDAQ. I personally am going to sell on the NASDAQ because that's basically all the market makers pulling it up, but I'll know, I'll be on the level 2, I'll be on the public data feed, so I will get my price and everything that I want, and I'll be able to see everything, and the fuckery won't be able to take place like it would in the OTC market. Sorry. Is that thing sitting here playing? I don't really think Melvin Capital is in there taking Citadel's trade on for them. I mean, I don't see any proof in the world yet, or I haven't seen anything on Bloomberg that made me think that their positions changed. I think that they might have had a whole bunch of, like I was saying in the CNS program, they might have had shares in that with them. They might have had contracts written with them. They might have had a whole bunch of forward contracts written with them. And if they had all that, they had to prop them up because if Melvin went down, that's a whole bunch of money lost for Citadel. And obviously they were going to lose a ton more money from them than it when if Robinhood went down, because obviously they bailed out Melvin. But like I said, what's going to happen this time when Melvin needs to be bailed out again? How much is Ken going to sell of his company next time? So the fact that we're making Ken Griffin sell parts of his company, you guys, how is that not a huge win for you? He has to sell part of his company to stay afloat. Let me tell you something about rich people. When they're in power, they don't like to sell their company. They don't like to give up any of that power unless there's basically a gun to their head. It's Project Ion shit. Project Ion. I think that's on the DTCC's website, if I remember right. Well, it's not shit because it's literally posted on the DTC website. I've never really looked into it yet, though. I mean, it said it launched, so I mean, platform first quarter. So this thing's already launching this year. And wait a second. Obviously, we just saw that exchange, so this might be part of that new exchange getting. Yeah, this is obviously. I don't know what the hell this is yet. I don't know. I'd have to honestly read more about this. I've never seen too much about the Project Ion. I just remember I saw Charlie had a video on it, but I didn't see his video. Sorry. Am I going live when we squeeze? Yeah, I'll probably go live, dude. I'll probably be going nuts. That might be the only time you guys ever hear me scream Rippy is when we go up hundreds at a time. That'll be nice. That's a Rippy. When I don't have to move, when I have the 1 minute candle to zoom to make it look like a rip, that's when we'll be feeling good, dude. Russia, Ukraine. Will the war, if it happens between Russia and Ukraine, going to affect the market on a global scale if it gets bigger? There's those two countries. Well, yeah, man, wars always affect economies, and eventually we're going to probably pick a side. And oh yeah, sorry. Project Ion, that's his robot Godzilla. Can anyone like type quick what about Project Ion? I don't want to take 5-10 minutes to read it. Why you guys are sitting here? It looks like it just what? It just wants to make a T0 model on T0 cycle, but capable. Unusual Whales, man. I love Unusual Whales, dude. His service is awesome. He gives good information. Anytime you meet him, if you go in like a chat room or anything like that, he tells you not to buy his service. Use the free version first and learn it before you're ever going to pay, so you don't lose money. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about Unusual Whales, my friend. Blockchain tech, so it's just blockchain. Okay. Well, if they're making blockchain tech already, well, fuck, it's the DTCC's problem, so it's gonna be corrupt in some way. I'd have to check it out. I'll dig more into Project Ion. Maybe that'll be one of my next videos. I gotta get my Gary Gensler video out. Everybody's been waiting on the Gensler video for so long, but I continuously make new videos. So I miss a lot of this stuff. We'll be introducing phases if approved. Yeah, like I said, I'll have to check this out. I'm not too sure about it. Hold on before we keep going. I forgot to do the tweet. Why is Lou trying to make us sell at the high hundreds? I don't know why, man. I don't know. Can't tell you. So I tell you, man. Here's the thing: everybody can be bought. You can tell in the tone of their voice when suddenly their messages change. I don't know. I love Phil for real, man. He's funny. I'll check that video out on Pantheon. Thank you. I mean, I feel like we went over quite. Anyone else have any other questions at all? His latest recommend sell 1 to 3K. I mean, 3K sounds better than 800. I don't know why he's saying 800. Everyone says every day. Thank you, Zeno. I'll check out your tweet. Yeah, I'll dig into the Project Ion here next. One of the things I want to do. So I've been working on this for months. This is the thing I'm going to get Jeffrey Epstein on here. So I've been tracking payments, bank accounts, offshore stuff, back-end deals. I got names, addresses. I got everything. I'm like FBI type shit going on here. I'm hoping to release that either next week or this week, like real soon. But I've been working on this for like 4 months. I haven't really shown anybody any of this stuff, but it's gonna be pretty crazy, man. I'm pretty excited to finally show everybody all this stuff. Where's my party gonna be at? I don't know, man. I hope we have like an 8con or something after. I'd definitely show up for something like that. That'd be sweet. You could do leap calls, my friend, or you could do normal calls way out. A whole bunch of stuff, but I always need to keep buying shares. Buy and hold, like I said, Powell's face said it all. They still don't have any answers for buy and hold, my friends. Ponzi scheme, like I said, you need new money constantly coming in. You need it spread out so you can validate why it's dropping. You can't validate it dropping to the whole world when we're sitting there only buying every single day. Is 5K possible? Yeah. Fuck yeah, it is. We went through all the people. We went through all the people. We went through the CNS buy-in. GameStop already had a situation with the CNS buy-in. It was going to go into thousands, and that wasn't even the hedge funds covering. Oh yeah, we could hit 5K. It could hit anything, man. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to give you guys an exact number. I don't want to give you a bracket to go, oh, go to 3 to 5K. Because then anybody's going to sell if it goes up to 5K all of a sudden and then drops down a little bit or gets close to 3K, they'll freak out and sell at that point. And what if it goes back up to 8K after that? So, like I said, I don't know how many shares each one you have. I don't know your personal life situation. I don't know what you consider life-changing money. I don't know what makes you happy. So everybody's thing's going to be different. But like I said, at the same time, gotta trust each other to get to those numbers. You can't. If everybody starts freaking out at $500 to $800, guess what? If 80 to 60% of us all freak out because Lou's saying $800, and guess what? We'll probably not get very much higher than $800. But that's if they only have to cover the 20%, which they'll have to. Like I said, there's no way. There's no way. Me personally, I don't see it. If it doesn't hit 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000 minimum, like something's fucked. That's when I would lose complete faith in all this shit. There's no way. I mean, that's the thing too. Like, they can lose more than what they have in assets. So just because they have the $3 trillion, guess what? They can lose more than that. Like they said, it's all about that credit, man. I'm sure they got stuff insured. My only concern would be like, I don't know, doing some shit with some LLC transfers, bankruptcy. I have to look more into that though. Fractional shares sell for crazy stuff. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people will put it out there, but are they gonna buy it at a crazy share, or are they just gonna wait for another share to come available that would be way less? I mean, it all depends. The problem is for it to get to like those crazy numbers for those fractional shares, every single like retail's gonna be buying in when the squeeze happens. You're gonna have hedge funds buying left and right. The only way it would eventually, it's gonna like, I don't know. I can't see it hitting like these 100,000, 500,000s. I really can't. 500K, I just can't see it. I'm not trying to break anyone's heart. I mean, $500,000 a share, you guys, is. I mean, that's just being crazy. But I'll tell you this: you have a chance at hitting a number you'll never probably hit again on another stock. So make sure that you guys are happy with the number you hit and hold and make that fucker as high as it can get. We're probably not going to have another chance after this like we are right now. Because the Ponzi scheme, the big bubble burst is going to happen, and it'll probably be, we'll get it again. Some of us will get it again. Some of us are too old right now to see it again, but just like 2008, just like 2022, 2030, whatever, they can't stop. They're fucking greedy. They'll figure something out. They'll keep doing it. We'll catch them again, though. What about 10K a share? I don't know. It could hit it, man. Like I said, it could hit any number. I don't know. I don't, like I said, what is my cap? Do I think it'll, me personally, I can't, if it hit like 10 to 15,000, I would probably sell, but I also have a lot of shares. I got in January of last year when it was like $5. But still 10,000? That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to share, man. Well, past 1K, yes, I could easily see it passing 1K. Alright. Does anyone else have any questions? It's midnight here. I was planning on stopping right around 11:30. I gotta get up at 5. Gotta work in the morning. Does anyone have any questions that haven't been answered at all, or we haven't went over, or anybody that came with something that they wanted me to go over or look into? Because I can look over something here with you guys, too. You can watch me research something for 2 minutes, see how I do it, and then do it yourselves. 100K is not life-changing money? Dude, you got some people living on the streets, man. Life-changing money, 100K for sure. BBIG? Honestly, I don't know, man. When I do this stuff, I make fun of these other people for doing stock advice, so I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to. I have other stocks, but I've never in an entire year told you guys what stocks I'm holding. I don't want to tell you what I'm holding. I don't really want to tell you stock plays. I'm just here to expose manipulation, my friends. Try and fix this garbage Ponzi scheme. I also got that video going on too. I think it uploaded. If you guys want to look more into that, if you guys want to look more into that exchange too, that just happened. I got my video should be uploaded on there also. All right, well, thanks everybody for coming. I'll have a couple more videos out here, and like I said, next week I'm hoping to get that Maya Epstein video out. Expose all these fuckers taking bribes, man. It'll get real interesting in the next week or two, my friends. Real interesting. But thank you guys for coming. I think next Sunday I'll try and do something like this again if you guys want to. But have a good night, you guys. Hope you had a good weekend.